Good morning. Welcome to Market Monday. So many predictions. Every day we're inundated with predictions from all over the world. And lately, haven't those predictions felt a lot like this?
Predictions are so captivating because we all want to know what the future holds. One of the defining characteristics of human beings is the ability to consider the future, to plan in advance, and yes, naturally, to worry about the future. Add to that the incentive for a creative writer to publish articles that get you to click. Yep, that's still their incentive. And we get, well, this.
And this. Here we're looking at the percentage of Americans who believe the US is in a recession. This is about a year ago through February of this year. No, you're reading that correctly. Over 50% of respondents from the survey believed that we were in a recession. Haven't we been hearing all about traditional indicators of recession flashing bright red for over a year now? Could this be the permanent recession that never arrives?
And when predictions fail, what's a self-respecting Wall Street analyst to do? Just keep making predictions. But you see, this doesn't just happen in financial markets. You may know that the NBA basketball finals are going on right now, 2 games in to a best of 7 game series between the Miami Heat and Denver Nuggets. But let's take a step back. To get into the finals, Miami had to beat the Boston Celtics in Game 7. Celtics fans were cheering the referees of the game as Miami had a record of 0-10, meaning 0 wins and 10 losses when either Scott Foster or Tony Brothers, both refs for Game 7, were referees during the regular season. And Miami fans were cheering because there has never been a successful comeback from an 0-3 series deficit in NBA history. So here we have 2 competing patterns, each showing a result that had never happened before, one of which would be broken.
What Matt's saying is, if you look hard enough, you can always find a pattern that has never happened before, or only happened in the handful of circumstances. But such patterns are violated all the time. There's nothing wrong with identifying patterns. In fact, patterns can be extremely useful. However, the longer markets defy people's predictions, or what they think should have happened based on X, Y, and Z, the deeper they will look for evidence to support their narrative. And there will be somebody on the internet to find a pattern. That's why, over a year into recession calls, some of the patterns folks are finding are, shall we say, a bit of a stretch.
Just how bearish are folks? As of May 24th, a little over a week ago, there had been less than $10 billion of inflows into US equity ETFs, exchange traded funds, this year. For context, at the same point in 2020, there had been $50 billion of inflows, 5 times as much. In 2021, $180 billion. And even in the bear market of 2022, $100 billion, 10 times as much going into US equity funds. In 2023, with the S&P 500 up about 10% and the NASDAQ 100 up about 28%, folks are not buying the rally.
Despite such a hated rebound this year, the market still feels a bit stuck. Well, that's because it has been stuck. In fact, the market has essentially gone nowhere for almost 2 years. Here's the market since July 1st of 2021, so just about 2 years. Completely flat, but only if you would have closed your eyes for the past 23 months. On the way up, there's fear of missing out, or FOMO. We don't want to miss the bus. And on the way down, it's the guy again, imminent crash, going much further. So it hasn't been easy, especially if you're looking at the markets daily, reading articles, and so forth. But Matt, considering this frustrating, meandering, grinding market, is there any good news on the horizon?
Well, what you just described is actually a thing. A down, then sideways market, right? Peak at the beginning of January 22 for the S&P 500, then down throughout 22, so far bottoming in mid-October. Then, as you said, meandering, grinding. A guy named Nick Majuli said, okay, let's define a down and sideways market as being down 20%, then finish within 2% of the same value 9 months later. Doesn't happen very often, but that's where we're at now. Here's a look at all the down then sideways markets, these red dots here, going back a long time, more than 100 years. Forward returns, meaning stock market returns over the next few years, tend to be slightly better after down and sideways markets, periods like we're in now. For example, here's the 5-year return distribution in red for down then sideways periods, and the gray represents all other years.
So despite this guy rearing his ugly head every chance he gets, there are some reasons to remain optimistic over the next few years. Thanks for watching our video. Hope you have a great week.